reflections on having sat in that two-stage solution conference?
Well, we've got these countries dealing with a very, very wretched situation, and the vexed question is being debated as we speak, and we've got many more days to go.
Minister, can you explain why New Zealand hasn't made its position on Palestinian statehood ahead of this week at the UN, especially considering so many of our close allies have?
Look, we've been waiting 80 long years for an answer here. In a few days, finding out all the facts, it will not be wasted.
In terms of that fact-finding mission, did you hear anything today that made you think Cabinet's in-principle decision should be changed?
Well, there's many more speakers to go. I mean, we've only heard about, I would think, about 15% maximum so far.
Just on that, I understood you were going to be listening for 3 hours, but you've left after 2. Why did you leave early?
Well, so I could speak to you.
Okay, you didn't want to stay and listen. I thought the point of being in there was to...
No, I was told there's a press conference that was very necessary for me to attend right here, right now, and that's what I'm doing.
Okay, and was there anything that stuck out to you in terms of what specific countries were saying? Emmanuel Macron was very strong in terms of the time to recognise being now.
Look, all these comments require some serious analysis, and we'll do that over the next few days.
I'm keen to ask about some comments made by the Australian Prime Minister, if I may, and I'm just going to quote it just so we have full context, if that's okay. He was asked when he announced Australia's position on Palestinian statehood by a journalist who asked him, "Are you saying that you don't think there'll be any impact on our relationship with the United States in taking this position?" Prime Minister Albanese responded by saying, "I'm saying that Australia makes our position clear as a sovereign nation. Our foreign policy isn't determined in Washington or Beijing or Wellington, for that matter. Our foreign policy is determined around the cabinet table in Canberra." Has New Zealand been trying to influence foreign policy in Australia in relation to this issue?
If you take out in his comments Wellington and Canberra, and in our place put Canberra and the Speaker, then I would believe identical to what he said. We have an independent foreign policy.
But why would he single out Wellington in particular?
Well, probably because he was persisted with by questioning from his journalists in the same way that I am.
Yeah, but he wasn't asked about New Zealand or Wellington in that response, which is why I
look, I've been in this game a long time, but I'm not a mind reader. You'll have to ask him that question.
At what point this week are you going to have a conversation with your coalition partners about finalising Cabinet's decision?
At the last moment, in the closing hour or so.
So
that we have all the information we need.
Is that Thursday our time?
Look, that's correct. It won't be Thursday New Zealand time, of course.
Exactly what information are you searching for this week?
Like I said, we're here to listen, hear all the arguments, all the facts, as best known. And when we have them, we will finalise our decision.
And what would you say to those in New Zealand that feel frustrated New Zealand has waited this long?
Well, the idea that somehow you would jump the gun, having waited 80 years, because the sovereignty of the country is being challenged on not announcing it in New Zealand versus the United Nations, I'm sorry, that doesn't hold up. We have been, since its formation, believers in a reformed United Nations, and we still believe that.
Has Australia, Canada, the UK, France jumped the gun?
Well, you'll have to ask them.
There's been criticism that Christopher Luxon, our Prime Minister, is not here, considering so many other leaders are here, and it's a momentous moment in the world for a number of reasons. Why is he not here?
Because, there are numerous leaders who are not here. He's not the only one. And I think that we can deal with this matter in all the confidence and all the experience that is required.
Does it not send a bad message?
No, I don't believe so at all.
Putting your experience aside, is it not most appropriate for our nation's leader to be here at this time?
Well, if that was the case, they'd all be here. 190 on a bad day would be here, but they're not. That's the way things are. Some countries have pressing matters at home.
Netanyahu was very quick yesterday to condemn Australia, the UK and Canada for recognising Palestine. Are you concerned that the situation is escalating?
Well, the reality is that every country will make its statement, and you have to ask them why they made it. We have an independent foreign policy. We've always stood up for our own view, being one of the oldest world's democracy and having practiced the rule of law more rigidly than most other countries. And so, we're not here to answer for other countries, we're here to answer for ourselves and for history.
I have one last question on the UN today. What was your message to Ukraine's Foreign Minister during that meeting earlier today?
Well, I was pleased to catch up with him. He is, of course, flat out trying to meet as many people as he possibly could. Our commitment to him was an unwavering support for their effort to defeat their invasion, and we'll go on doing that.
He invited you to return to Kyiv, but you've already been 18 years ago.
Yes.
Do you plan on going back?
Well, if there's time, yes.
We might change tack now and ask some questions about a domestic issue.
Yes.
Why does New Zealand First feel strongly about this visa issue that you're invoking agree to disagree?
Well, for decades we've had an unfocused immigration policy. The OECD has pointed out countless times, and even of late, about the lack of skills that we're bringing to a first world economy. New Zealand First has that position, and we've always said that we should skill and train our own people first and not use our failure to do so or our failure to educate properly students coming here as some sort of incentive to not meet the first world education standards. And we're letting ourselves down, and we're making the point, as we've made for a long, long time. We need to get on top of our skills to the maximum, and we haven't done that. The education system has failed. We've got numerous points of difference with other political parties, but I think the verdict of history will be on our side.
What's your understanding of how migrants are using New Zealand as a pathway to Australia? Like, how is that happening?
Well, look, can't you see the irrefutable evidence of those who have left recently? Half were not born here. That means we've been used as a launching pad for another country. And we're saying that is surely a massive testimony to the failure of our policy. And then when you change export education, which I was involved in way back in 1997, first to go to China to get export education, and they asked me to promise that when they were educated, my country would send them home. I've kept my word. Sadly, my country hasn't, because as they failed to match the international export education standards, they've added little bonuses and incentivisation to cover those failures up. That's not smart education.
How do you think Australians will react to this news?
Well, Australia knows precisely what I'm talking about, because that's why our special relationship was lost between Helen Clark and John Howard. You remember way back when? 2002. All the history is behind New Zealand's first position on this matter.
What do you say to criticism that this is just New Zealand First peddling anti-migrant rhetoric and that we can expect more of that ahead of this election?
We don't respond to lazy journalism. Thank you.